because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC 290 International Fight Week, which is always a big deal for the UFC in Vegas. Crazy time of the year down in Vegas. I've been before, and it gets fairly busy. We got some big fights, guys. Lost a big one on the card. I was really looking forward to the Sean Brady versus Madalena fight. Really looking forward to that. Fortunately, we won't see that. Madalena will stay on the card still. He did get a replacement. I'll be breaking down the main card like usual, guys. Providing free picks, leans, what to avoid, and pricing talk. SystemSportsCapping.com is the website if you want my personal plays for this card. Out after weigh-ins on Friday. System Capping on all social media. Free plays weekly on Instagram and TikTok. Give me a follow over there. We are rolling over there in the free play video market. Weekly update. Let's do a weekly update from last week. UFC Vegas 76. Perfect card for clients. Going 3-0. Another perfect free card as well. Cooking right now in the UFC and PGA, guys. Continue to beat the books most weeks. All three bets were plus money winners last week. The famous Two Fight Parlay hits again. Plus 113. We were on Morales and Dawson and Ismagulov. Fight to go the distance. Morales seems to be the real deal, guys. 15-0 now. Tough test in Griffin, right? Griffin's a veteran, been in some big fights. Tough guy to put away. He did start a bit slow, but took over with his flashy striking power. Hurt Griffin, beat up his face up pretty good there. And, I did expect Griffin to try to wrestle, and he struggled. He couldn't get him down, right? Morales does have a wrestling base, which I mentioned previous video, and he wasn't able to get him down. Griffin needs to try to mix it up and not just stand on the feet and box, and Morales was able to win the fight unanimously. Usmagulov and Dawson, right? I knew that fight's going to go the distance. Usmagulov never been finished. Very tough guy to finish. I expected Dawson to control him on the ground, which he did. Able to take him down fairly easily, just not able to get the finish, which I did expect. And that's why I bet Dawson at plus 260 by decision, guys. Books made a mistake there. Way overpriced. I took advantage. Plus 260 for, I knew the fight's going to go the decision. I knew he was just going to control his Magulov on the ground. So we bet Dawson there at plus 260. Other winner was Rosa. Rosa by decision plus 115. That fight obviously also was going to go the distance. Close fight. Could have gone either way. But Rosa stole the late, right? She had the biggest moment in the fight. The takedown and then the ground and pound for about 15 seconds. So she won the fight due to that. Last round, I think it was up in the air. I think it was 1-1 going to the last round, and she stole the last round. So a nice decision plus money winner there. Strickland got it done as well. I personally stayed off it for clients. Did give it out as a free play last week, though, so hopefully you did tail Strickland in the main event. Nice win for him. They thought that Abbas was going to come in and steal the show, put a new name in that division, but Strickland continues to avoid that, right? He beat the French guy, now he beats the German guy when they're trying to bring in some new blood, and he just gassed out. It was weird. This Abbas guy gassed out in the second round. I kind of just gave up. It was very strange to see. That's why I couldn't back him, because we haven't seen him in a big fight like that. UFC 2023 update. Let's do an update on the year. It's been an outstanding year, guys. 40-18 on the year, guys, for clients. 69% win rate. Not going to find that around the market, guys. And remember, this record is usually plus money or, minus 120 at minus 120 at the highest, minus 150, which I don't do much. And those are single fights. So most of this is plus money or, smaller unit favorites. This isn't, 69% minus 200, minus 250, minus 300, which you'll see from some of the clowns in the market. Plus 65.5 units long term, guys. 73% two-fight parlays on the year. These two-fight parlays just been cooking. I find my two favorite bets that I like. I put in a two-fight parlay. Usually comes around plus money or around even money. And we've just been cooking on those. I love doing them. It's a good way to get some better value in the market. PGA, back on top of the outright market, guys. Ricky Fowler is also back on top of the golf market, which is exciting for him after 4 years, right? Couldn't happen to a better guy. He struggled for years, guys. And then started picking it up this year. right? His golf game has been outstanding, especially the past 3 months. And I knew he was going to win an event anytime soon. Had to have an outright on him for the last few weeks. Got it early. I was going to bet him, Ricky Fowler, probably for at least another 6 weeks in the outright market. He got it done in the first 2 weeks that I started betting on him. So plus 1,400 for clients. Another profitable prop market. Also a free play winner for you guys if you're following. 14-3, 83% on the free play winners. 8 outrights in 2023 highlighted by Grillo plus 8,000, guys. Just under 83 units in the prop market long term. 66% matchups on the year. NFL's around the corner, guys. Here's a reminder. The last 2 years, future market studying has begun already. It has begun. Starting to rank my teams, doing some research on off-season acquisitions, right? Doing all that before August. Client card probably come out in August. I'll do a free play video for you guys as well. Like this video, guys. It does help me out a lot. Shop around for the best prices. Have multiple books around the market. Some of the best advice I can give you. Have multiple books, especially in the UFC, guys. Some books have certain props. Prices do vary from book to book, so get the best price and let's beat the books together. Volkanovski minus 400 versus Rodriguez plus 300. Plus 300 here on Rodriguez. Volkanovski minus 400 and the rightful favorite here. Excited for this one. Volk has been saying all week he thinks Yair is one of the most dangerous guys he's fought. I agree, especially on the feet. Definitely some value here at this price. And hard to bet Volk at minus 400. However, he can be a two-fight parlay piece if you find something at a lot lower price. Outcome's tough. To call here in this fight. Volk's a guy I never really bet against, right? I won't be betting against him here. Unless his name is Islam. I did have Islam in that fight. Close fight, yes. Islam did enough to win it, in my opinion. But yeah, Volk just not a guy I bet against until you can show me at this division that someone can beat him, right? Coming off a loss too. You don't want to bet against Volkanovski coming off a loss. Yes, Rodriguez does have some of the tools to do it. He has some great striking. Volkanovski hasn't seen a kicking game like Rodriguez. He did bring in Blood Diamond, who's a very good kickboxer, to mimic Rodriguez. Keep that in mind. So I think that will help him. But Rodriguez just very durable. A ton of heart. Obviously, Mexican fighter, right? Of course, you're going to expect that. The kicking game is off the charts. Very flashy. Does have a sneaky good ground game, too. Not a wrestling game, and I think that's where Volkanovski could take advantage here. We may see Volkanovski wrestle more than other fights. I think the path here is for Volkanovski to wrestle and grapple. Yes, Rodriguez can be dangerous off his back. He does have a sneaky good submission game, but Volkanovski's not getting submitted. There's one thing I can almost guarantee, and nothing's a guarantee in a fight. However, one thing I can guarantee is, almost guarantees, Volkanovski won't get submitted in this fight. His BJJ is trained with Craig Jones, one of the best in the world. I just don't see it happening. He's too strong. We've seen an Ortega fight. We've seen Islam not able to get close to a submission. So Volkanovski just continues to show that heart and grind, and why I love backing him in fights. Sometimes it's hard to back him in fights, right? At minus 400, it's difficult. But if I can find another parlay piece and have Volkanovski in the center of it, I'll love it, right? I'll love that. So having Volkanovski here is going to be the play for video purposes. Can Rodriguez pull it off? Can Yair pull it off? Sure, he could. I just have a hard time seeing him. How's he going to do it, right? It's not going to be... I have a hard time seeing it in 5 rounds. I think Volkanovski has the better cardio gas tank. We've seen also Rodriguez, wear down later in fights, especially in the Max Holloway fight. Max Holloway was able to hurt him pretty bad. We know Volkanovski beat Max Holloway 3 times. I just have a hard time seeing how Rodriguez wins this fight. Sure, you could catch him with something and hurt him, but I just don't see Volkanovski going away, right? And especially losing back-to-back fights. It just doesn't seem like it's in his DNA. I love Rodriguez, love watching him fight. I think it could be a very entertaining fight. If we get anything like the Max Holloway fight, That would be very exciting. And I do think Volkanovski may lean more to his wrestling, so look out for that. His wrestling, his grappling, he's going to be the stronger guy in there. He's going to have the better wrestling and grappling, in my opinion. Rodriguez, sure, you can say maybe he's better on the feet due to his all-around striking game with his kicking, but Volkanovski has some sneaky leg kicks as well, so look for him to use that. I have to back Volkanovski here. Don't love the price, but it may make my client card in some way if I can fit it in. Moreno, minus 188 versus Pantoja, plus 162. A lot of big favorites on this card, but this is where I think you could look at the underdog on Pantoja. It's a very fun and interesting fight. Pantoja's currently on a nice 3-fight win streak here. Back-to-back submission wins. Moreno back-to-back wins too, though, right? And both KOs, which has been very impressive. Over some of the best guys in the world, Kaka, France, and Davison, right? Why I do think there is some value here on Pantoja, though, he did beat him twice. That's very important to the mental game of Moreno, right? Someone that beats you twice, you never beat him before. We've seen that before, right? Israel Adesanya losing 3 times. He did come back and get that win. And, if Pantoja does win, there's going to be a rematch right away, I'm pretty sure. So he could get his revenge then. But that's one thing to keep in mind, right? Pantoja beat him once. I think it was in a Contender Series or Ultimate Fighter type of fight. That was an exhibition. That was back in 2016. Then he fought him again in the UFC, and Pantoja dominated him for 3 rounds. Dominated for 3 rounds. I don't think it's the greatest matchup for Moreno. So that's why I think it's good plus money, plus 162. Both guys have got better, though. Keep in mind, Moreno got a lot better from 2018. But Pantoja, you can also argue, say, got better as well. How much better did Moreno get? We're going to find out here. I don't love betting against Moreno. I don't love doing it. It's not a profitable venture that you're going to have fight after fight if you just bet Moreno fights. But I do think there's some value here at plus 162 with Pantoja. I think Pantoja is going to be the better grappler. I think he's going to want to get the fight down to the ground. On the feet, though, I lean Moreno. I think Moreno's the better striker out of the two. But Pantoja won't be shy to stand on the feet and bang with Moreno. So it's a very interesting fight. I think it could be a very close fight. The one thing I do think would favor Moreno if the fight gets deep. Right, if it gets into the 4th and 5th round, advantage Moreno. So that's going to be something to see if Pantoja can get like an earlier finish. He might try to go out for a quick finish, guys, which could be an issue later in the fight if Moreno's able to avoid it. So keep that in mind. The play due to the price is going to be Pantoja. It's not going to make don't think it will make my client card. If it does, it's going to be a very small unit. But I got to try to find some plus money here on the main card. This is going to be my favorite play out of the 5 fights that I'm going to talk about at plus money due to the recent history between these two. And just Pantoja very hungry and fighting his best in his career. Whitaker, minus 400 versus Duplessis. Plus 300. Another big line. Same line as the main event, right? And it's just hard for me to get to the plus money again. Just because I haven't seen DDP fight this level of competition, right? Whitaker, been there, done that. The 3 round, this is actually a 3-round fight. It actually favors Duplessis, right? It favors him because it's only 3 rounds. In a round standpoint, right? If it's a 5-round fight, Whitaker by finish, I would bet all day due to DDP's issues with his cardio that we've seen time and time again. Apparently, they said he fixed it because of some nose issue. I don't buy it until I see it. And, I don't buy Duplessis until I see him beat a guy at this level, right? He's been beating guys like, Darren Till, he's finished in his career. Till could have won that fight, but his takedown defense is so bad. And we know DDP's not going to be able to just take down Whitaker. If he does, he's not going to be able to keep him there. Trevin Giles, who cares? Tavares, sure, decent win. And then Brunson, who's just at the end of his career. And, he caught him on the feet. Brunson can't strike. So, I'm not really impressed by the guys he's beaten. He hasn't beat a top guy, in my opinion. He beat Brunson at the end of his career. Till at the end of his career. Till's out of the UFC. So I'm not super impressed for the guys he beat as of yet. And if he's going to fight like he does, he likes to bring the fight. He likes to come forward, try to mix in some wrestling. I don't think he's going to have any wrestling advantage here. And I do think if he tries to bring the fight against Whittaker, it's not smart. Whittaker's going to use his jab, be able to stick and move. I think Whittaker is better everywhere, in my opinion, and I do think he gets the win. Now, if you try to find an outcome here, I think it's difficult. He can take a shot, DDP, as you've seen in some fights. He can take a shot. But if he's going to bring the fight, Whittaker could catch him at some point. It's going to be interesting, guys, to see if Whittaker could finish this fight. I don't know. It would be more of a flip of a coin for me, and I'd have to maybe lean the finish. So you can improve that minus 400 price. But it's hard for me to get to a guaranteed outcome here. I can't really, get to an outcome. I can see just Whittaker dominating for 3 rounds, using the jab, mixing in some wrestling, avoiding the takedowns, just winning on the judges' scorecards. Very, very possible, right? So Whittaker's the play for me. I'm probably going to have him in some capacity for clients. Just don't know if it's going to be, if I can maybe find an outcome at a good price. I may look that way, or maybe try to fit Whittaker in a 2-fight parlay. We may have to go to a very, very, very rare 3-fight parlay with Whittaker, Volk, and someone else. I've done it before. It's rare that I do it, but sometimes you have to, right? When the outcome is just not clear. Turner, minus 250 versus Hooker, plus 200. Every time I see Hooker's name on a card, it's always just fighting some tough guy. Taking the tough fights. Dan wants the tough fights. He mentioned in interviews all the time. He wants to get back to the title. He says he has to beat tough guys like this. I get it. Right? They gave Dan a winnable fight against the Peruvian. He was able to, I wouldn't say dominate, but he was able to, beat him up on the feet. The guy was looking for a submission. Dan didn't play into his game, just kicked him on the ground and beat the Peruvian. Hooker at plus 200 is somewhat of intriguing here. This probably, he's been fighting guys before the Peruvian. He's fighting guys like Islam, Chandler, Arnold Allen, all losses. So that's what I find with Dan Hooker. When he steps up in competition against the best guys, he loses. But when he fights the mid-tier, lower-tier guys, he usually gets the win. So I don't think Dan Hooker is elite. I think he's a very good fighter. I just don't think he's elite of a division guy. Is Turner elite a division guy? Right? Turner hasn't beat anyone in the top 10. Right? He's beaten, guys like Riddell and Malarkey. Good guys, but never guys that will be in the top 10. Right? When he fought a guy in the top 10, he put on a good performance against Gamrot. I'll give him that. It's just his takedown defense is very suspect. It will be interesting to see if Hooker goes to some wrestling. Now, Hooker's not a world beater wrestler. He can wrestle, though. Hooker's fairly well-rounded. Obviously, his kickboxing, Muay Thai is his best weapon. But he does have some sneaky wrestling. It would be interesting to see if he goes to that. Because Turner on the feet, if you stand with Turner for 3 rounds, I think Turner gets the finish. Lots of power, right? This is the first time Hooker won't have a reach advantage. So that's going to be interesting. Hooker should try to wrestle here, I think. Turner's takedown defense is suspect. Gamrot showed that, right? Gamrot won the fight because he was able to just take Turner down at will. So if Hooker could try to mix it up, try to get this fight down to the ground, he has a chance to win this fight. Plus 200 is intriguing. I just think Turner, is improving fight to fight. The Gamrot fight was fairly impressive. Some people thought he won that fight. So the play for video purposes is going to be Turner. I just can't bet Turner at minus 200 against a very dangerous, well-seasoned Dan Hooker. It's tough for me to get there. Video purposes, play is Turner. I'm not going to bet Turner up minus 250. I guess I would lean Turner in the finish market. I haven't looked at it yet. If I can get a good plus money price on Turner, maybe a small unit play there this weekend. But I got to see a little more from Turner against the better guys in the market. Again, the Gamrot fight was fairly impressive. But that takedown defense is suspect. Interesting to see if Hooker can get there. I don't think Hooker is a good enough wrestler to expose Turner. That's the issue here why I can't get to this plus 200. Will I be surprised if Hooker wins? No. Won't be surprising. So due to that, plus 200, small value there because I wouldn't be surprised if Hooker wins this fight. But I think Turner keeps it on the feet long enough to hurt Hooker, and I'm going to lean Turner here for video purposes. Last fight, Bo Nickel is staying on the card. He's getting a last-minute replacement, Woodburn, plus 1,100. There's some plus 1,200s out there. Minus 2,500. Biggest line I've ever seen. Biggest line I've ever seen, guys. It's laughable. It's just not bettable, right? And outcome, minus 1,000. Biggest outcome I've ever seen for this fight to finish. And yeah, he's going to finish this fight most likely. He's going to take him down in the first round and probably find a submission or ground and pound, right? Woodburn, I went back and watched tape. Does he have a chance in this fight? I had to go back and watch some tape. From what I look, he looks like a Buckley-style fighter. Bulky, shorter, throws heavy. I did see some clinch work. He looked fairly strong in the clinch. Never got the fight down to the ground. I watched his last fight in Orlando. He's just fighting low-level regional scenes guy. He was ready for this fight because he was training for August for the Contender Series. So if someone calls you and said, "You want to fight Bo Nickel? If you win this fight, you are a legend. You are the new talk of the town. You beat the guy that's supposed to be one of the best prospects ever in the UFC. Why wouldn't you take this fight? UFC's gonna like you. They're gonna give you another fight even if you lose. This is a no-brainer to take this fight. It's a win-win situation for Woodburn, right? And if he shows up, maybe he lasts all 3 rounds somehow. That's a win for him. So if he just shows up and is able to not get submitted in the first round, it's going to be a win for him. Either way, it's going to be the biggest payday of his career. So it's another thing to just take right away. So no-brainer for Woodburn to take this fight, in my opinion. Does he have a chance? Probably not, right? I don't think he has any chance to win this fight. I think Nickel just out-wrestles him, takes him down like he's been doing in all of his fights, and probably gets a submission or TKO in the first round. Be interesting to see if Woodburn can last around, in my opinion, right? Nickel's just been winning all first round finishes due to that wrestling and grappling. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Client card will be out Friday after weigh-ins. I will have a few plays on the prelims as well, so you can get that full card. We're rolling here in the UFC this year. I suspect to continue going strong for the rest of the year. Can't wait for this card. We got some big fights back on pay-per-view. UFC July 4th card, always fun. We got a big Boston card coming up next month too. I can't wait. Can't wait. Love the UFC. Love capping the UFC. Usually profitable almost every week. Can't say every week. That wouldn't be truthful, right? But most weeks we do profit here in the UFC. So get on board. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.